What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Cloud Slayer channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Today we got a Monday Ramble. I know I hit everybody up with a Sunday Ramble yesterday, talking about the jiu-jitsu competition that I attended. Yeah, first and foremost, I want to say congrats, to everybody that won there and all those who participated. It's awesome and things like that. And it was awesome to be a part of. And hey man, sometimes you know you got to get out of your shell, out of your comfort zone, and attend new things and do things that may not always seem natural to you, and for you to progress within yourself. I know it was a big change for me. I mean, the only other thing I've ever attended like that, besides like helping out like powwows and stuff when I was a kid, and basketball essentially, or football. I did football too, and baseball. Except those were like half my life ago. Now, and I never really attended anything else like that. Especially if it was something that I I had to prep for, right? I had to think about and stuff like that. And today I want to talk a little bit more of some of those things of what it takes for or took for myself to overcome some internal battles, right? I talk about some of these things in the rambles and things like that. But it's easy to talk about. It's not. It's way more difficult to do them, right? It's you're facing internal animosity. You're facing the opponent within your mind. You try to play it through in your mind a million times. It goes right sometimes, but it goes wrong a lot of times. You're thinking about, oh man, did I have enough training? Have I been practicing long enough? Am I good at, hand fighting? Am I good at defending things? Am I X, Y, and Z, right? But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter how much you prep for those things, and when you go into it for your first time, it always seems like it's a surprise, regardless of what I was doing, right? First time suiting up for basketball, I forgot everything. I didn't know where I was. I was just on that court, just trying to chase after the ball. I remember that from basketball, and and then getting used to that and becoming more aware of the situation around me. And then I remember the first time I suited up for varsity, everybody seemed faster, everybody seemed stronger. Even the people I was normally faster than, I felt like I was a slug. I didn't. I felt like, whoa, holy crap! It's just a whole different atmosphere, right? Just thinking about it gets me like amped up. Thinking about the first time I ever suited up for varsity, and the frickin', oh man, the goosebumps gives me. It freaking how hype I was, and you know, how much the adrenaline was going through my body. Just being there, just being able to even sit on the bench. Just thinking about what I was going to do the first time I got the ball. And it didn't go that well when I first got the ball. I missed the easy bank shot, and because I was so anxious to get in there, I was so happy to get in there, and the adrenaline's a whole different level than the lower levels of basketball. Playing on a playground, playing on junior varsity, playing on anything anywhere else, right? And you're in that game at that moment, and it could be a tough situation that you're needed, or so you tell yourself, right? Instead of just relying on your training and going forth, you forget a lot. You forget the basics. You forget and jujitsu and baseball and all these other things. It's all the same thing. I remember the first time I got into a baseball game, other than playing catch in practice or trying to field the balls from, them hitting it right. And, I went to catch this fly ball, and I hold my hands down instead of up. And I totally forgot, I felt like a dingleberry, right? But you got to go through those things to remember to think and stay active and remember those things that you're doing, right? And even for the jujitsu thing, which nobody expects anything out of you when you do that. It's just you expect that out of yourself, right? And it's going to happen the first couple times you go to do things. Even in training, I forget to do stuff, but it is what it is. You that's what the training's for, is to help reinforce that. But you're gonna make mistakes along the way, and it's just like life, right? It's a matter of how you pick yourself up and continue forward, and continue to learn and continue to improve yourself. It's all about self-improvement, right? It's just like anything else, man. Anything else in life, anything that you ever dreamed of, anything you ever desired, anything that you created a goal for yourself to achieve, it all ties in together. It's all relevant, right? And if these are things that keeps you busy and keeps you happy, keep doing them. Don't give up. Right now, I got freaking hurt again from that freaking hip toss. It was a beautiful hip toss from him, but I'm not gonna let that deter me. I want to keep training and stuff, even if I never compete again, whatever. Like I said, I wanted to do it one time to see how it felt, and and it felt freaking awesome. And like I said, even if I never compete again, I don't care about that. I care about improving and learning this thing, and having fun with it, man. And that's all that should matter with at the end of the day, because hey, man, it's better than doing drugs. It's better than getting into trouble and stuff like that. You're out there trying to learn, and you're making friends, and people are teaching you things, and you're doing your best to just keep up sometimes, and even though sometimes it seems like people leave you in the dust, it also shows you that, hey, with the same hard work and dedication as those others, it reminds you that you can do it too, as long as you're willing to put forth that effort, right? As long as you're willing to see your own weaknesses and go after those and work towards those things, and do what you can to improve upon those, right? And I always talk about it, and I'm always reminding myself constantly that that's what life is, right? That life is about improving those weaknesses in yourself, right? You mess up at work, you mess up in an argument with your girl, your boy, your son, your daughter, your wife, your husband, whoever, and sometimes you say things that you don't mean because of those things, because of your own internal frustrations, right? And sometimes those things, they build up, and you say not the wrong thing, but something that you don't even believe yourself, to people that just love you and care for you, and sometimes put up with your crap, right? And you put up with theirs, obviously. We all do, right? We all have baggage. We all have things we deal with the people that we love and care for. But the thing is, you're still going to be there for them, right? You're still going to be there and help them along, and they're going to help you along, even though you have differences. And you see that mess up that you do, and you do your best to correct it, to not treat them like that again, to not make them feel like that, because we all know how it is to have somebody treat us like that and stuff like that, and sometimes they do that to us too. And they're probably, a lot of times, your own family, they don't want to hurt you like that neither. Some families, I guess, there's a lot of families that aren't the same like that, unfortunately. But thank God my family's not like that. My mom, her and I, we don't see eye to eye, but at the end of the day, I'm always gonna love her, and she's always loves us too. We all love our mom, and she does the best she can. And I say things sometimes, like, I let my anger get the best of me, and I say stuff that isn't very nice. And I know this, and I regret it. I don't regret it as in saying it. I just regret in the way or when I say it or how I said it or, you know, the reason why I said it was at the time just to get back because we were arguing or something, and um, it, it sucks and I feel horrible for it. And that's not a good time to say things is when you're angry, and it's not a good thing to look back on things when you're sad or anything like that, or you're feeling sorry for yourself. I'll use an I'll or when you're doubting yourself, you're thinking about the next thing and what's going to happen, right? And you gotta you gotta shake it off, and you gotta refocus and remember that, or try to, anyways, that remind yourself that, you can do better, that you are better than that you're not that same person that you were, that means those things because, you don't want to hurt those people. You don't want to not listen. You don't want to not improve. You want to be better, and you're always looking to be better for everybody that you love and that you care for, and putting forth your efforts to make that happen, right? And it's a big generalization, but it's also it's pretty true, right? That sometimes and things that sound simple, things that I bring up to myself all the time in these rambles and stuff. It sounds simple, but it's all complex, and they all have their own situations, their own hardships that are happening in real time. And it's not as simple as just simple improvements. It's, what steps do I have to take to improve? What things do I have to do in order to get better? And, it's never so easy. I always want to emphasize that it always sounds easier. It's always easier said than done. And, I don't, if anybody takes anything from this, is never to tell anybody what to do or anything like that. I'm not even telling myself what to do, right? It's just things I say, and things can change. And, I just want to be a better man at the end of the day, the next week, the next month, the next year. And I just want to see those people that I care for smile, and I don't want to make them sad. I don't want to make myself sad. I don't want to make anybody else sad around me, right? I just want them to smile. And, and sometimes you're not going to be successful, and you're just going to have to live with that, right? But that doesn't mean you go out of your way to go against that, It doesn't mean that you go out of your way to sabotage yourself because you did set those goals up for you. I've said a few times I get asked the question of resolutions, and that it's about time resolutions are going to come up again, but for people for New Year's or whatever. But sometimes you're waiting a whole lifetime to fulfill a resolution, right? A New Year's resolution, because you have to start over each and every year, or you have to start over every week, every day, or every month or something, whether those ambitions of quitting smoking cigarettes, quitting to drink alcohol, quitting to smoke weed or play video games, or whatever goal that you have for yourself, right? Or start a business, start to apply yourself at your job that you're at, start to, change how you interact with other people, change how you stand up for yourself, change how you do all these little things that you want to change within yourself, and how you conduct yourself in your everyday life and your work life, or wherever you're at in your life, wherever it is. And you're going to be scared. You're going to not know what to do. You're going to forget when you go to do those things, you go to implement them, you're going to forget everything you told yourself. You're going to forget every little thing that you did to set yourself up for that moment. But don't give up yet. You know, try it again. Try it again. If you're serious about that thing, you're going to continue to do it, right? No matter how many times you fail, um, failure's just means you're on the verge of brilliance, that you're on the verge of success. Um, you're gonna take those lumps, but it's gonna make you a better person. It's gonna make you a better person at the end. Um, it's only gonna not when you give into those things, when you give into that negativity, when you give into that wanting to quit. You know what I mean? And I know, like I come into that moment too. Like I said, when I got hip tossed, I wanted to quit. I felt that pain instantly, and I just wanted to give up. I wanted to tap out because I couldn't breathe, because I felt the pain right away, because I was on the bottom. I just got hip tossed in front of my old lady and my son, and oh man, it's so embarrassing, or whatever, with all these people here. And then as soon as I got my wits about me, I was like, no, that's not the case. Don't give up. It's not over yet. You could still move. You're breathing now. You didn't get tapped out yet, so the match isn't over. The match is still going. He's trying to win this thing. And you want to as well. Don't quit just yet, right? And I've come across a lot of those moments as well during my life. For not just sports and ways of work, right? Many times and I haven't worked in like a corporate America or anything like that. I've only worked at small businesses around the areas that I've lived at, right? And dead people would consider them dead end jobs or whatever, but that doesn't mean that those jobs don't support families and lives that are there to work, and stuff like that. There's people that have worked in those dead end jobs for their entire life, and guess what? They made a pretty decent living off of it, right? No education, none of that. They just put in their blood, sweat, and tears, and did what they could for those places. Whether it's packaging, whether it's making deli sandwiches. I was there, for 3 years, making deli sandwiches and Shooting Star Casino, packaging for friggin' like MDV and stuff like that. And then, that's not an easy job, man. You're slinging 50-pound bags all day long. Like, there's other jobs that are way harder than that, and there's also jobs way easier than that, and sometimes when you get settled in to those jobs, you take them for granted, right? We all take stuff for granted, whether that just be how much you rely on something or someone, or things like that. It's gonna happen. It happens to me all the time. It happens to others all the time, I'm sure. And it just sometimes you gotta kick yourself in the butt and remind yourself that hey, that's the wrong turn. That's the wrong turn. Get back on the road. You might have veered off the road and traveled a few miles, but hey, you can get right back on it if you choose to. You just gotta show up. You just gotta get there, and you just gotta refine yourself. You gotta refocus and tell yourself, I don't want to give up on that yet, and continue forth with it, right? So yeah, I hope you find whatever it is that you're looking for. I hope that you help yourself in getting better and finding ways to help you through whatever frickin' situation it is that you're going through at this time. It's hard times upon everybody. We got all the frickin' politics. We got all this stuff, the economy and all that kind of stuff. There's hard times within some companies. You see some of them firing like tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people. The massive amounts of people's lives get affected from that stuff, and it's scary, and it can happen to any business around you. You know what I mean? And it's not meant. I'm not saying it to scare anybody. It's a fact. It happens. I've seen for many years. it happens. Sometimes the ricotta cheese, there was this ricotta cheese that we loved with our lasagna, and all of a sudden it just stopped. Factory went down, and that was our favorite thing, and we thought like everybody loved it or whatever, and it's just life isn't like that, and life's not so simple. It's way more complex than anybody's ever gonna tell you, and crappy things happen. Things are gonna change, but guess what? You gotta adapt. You gotta move on, and you gotta do your best to carry forward. Right? You're gonna either sink or you're going to swim, and it all comes down to yourself and the people around you and stuff like that. Um, it's hard. It's hard sometimes, but you got to believe. You got to believe even when you're facing the depths of your own despair. You might be thinking about throwing your life away because of the hardships, and it's not the answer. It might seem like the answer because nothing's going right for you. Everything's down. Everybody around you, like a lot of people that you knew, grew up with, they're dying and stuff like that. They're hurting themselves. They're killing themselves. They're on drugs. They're on, they're doing these things, and it seems sometimes hopeless, right? And you decide that sometimes that maybe today's the day. You know what I mean? I have a buddy I see all the time talking about that stuff, and it's super sad. You know what I mean? And no matter what you say to them, sometimes they don't hear it. They don't hear those good words sometimes because they're too far into their own thoughts, into their own feelings, into their own despair to realize that there are people right there trying to cheer them up. But if they don't see it, if they don't do nothing about it, then nothing's ever going to fucking change, right? Nothing is going to change if you don't put forth the effort, if you don't see it, if you don't make the changes that are affecting you as well. And sometimes you can do all those changes. It might seem like it's going nowhere, but sometimes it just pays off out of nowhere, right? Like I said, I've done that in a place too where it seemed like I was not going to go anywhere there, and I thought, hey, these guys, I'll never get promoted to this thing. I'll never do that because of, I don't think it's really based off of how hard you work. Sometimes it's based off of, kissing butt or whatever, as soon as I stopped thinking that way, and I just focused on more of my work and improving myself there, and how do I improve these things that I do have control of, these things that I am working on, and how do I make these better? How do I improve upon these? How do I stop focusing on the negative? How do I stay positive? And as soon as I start doing that, I stop focusing on, being promoted for no good reason because I wasn't really contributing, right? I was just sitting there moping about something and expecting something and not doing anything about it, right? And that was my own fault, and I've done it time and time again. But as I gotten a little bit older, you realize that sometimes sooner, and sometimes you don't realize it at all. Regardless, I'm going to throw that out there too, and sometimes you'll let that despair in, but if you're able to keep it out, man, keep it out, do your best. It's never going to be perfect. It's always easier said than done. But if anybody's capable of doing it, it's you. It's you, it's me, it's everybody around us. It's just a matter of whether you can see it or not. Whether those good words of encouragement get through to you or not. Whether or not you choose to start believing in you, right? So, if there's anything you want to start doing today, I would say choose to believe in yourself, right? Choose to prioritize how you can get better. And when I say you, I'm talking to myself too. So I'm looking at this reflection. I can't look myself in the eye, but I do see a lot of the mistakes. I do see a lot of things I can improve on. I do see so many things, and I'm going to do my best to do it. I'm not going to give up. You know, I got too many people that I love and care for to give up, you know, until God tells me it's my time to go. I don't want to give up for them guys, for everybody, you know, for myself, for my family, my loved ones, my friends, all those guys. And I want to see the best for them as well. But, you know, the way the world is, nobody can do it for you. Only you can do it. Only you can choose to put your feet forward and progress and learn and see and think for yourself and create opportunities and stuff like that. Whether you're doing a good job at it or not, that's irrelevant. What is relevant is that you continue to, you know, do it, be positive, and don't give up. So, but anyways, I hope you guys have a great one. Till next time, it's been a Cloud Slayer ramble. I hope you guys have a great one. Till next time, love you guys. Peace.